Let's talk more about Americans in Haiti right now with Senator Ron Johnson, a Republican from Wisconsin. Congressman, always good to have you on, sir. The State Department says nearly 1,600 Americans are now seeking help in Haiti. Explain the scope of the situation there, and is the Biden administration doing enough to help those stranded?
Well, good morning. Well, it's anarchy. It should really serve as a cautionary tale to all of us in terms of how close society can be to a situation of chaos and anarchy, which is why we need effective government. Now, I like limited government, but we need effective government, and this is just one further example of how weak and feckless the Biden administration is. I mean, how difficult would it be to use the American military to establish a base in an airstrip to evacuate American citizens? I mean, how difficult would that be? Why aren't they doing it yet? Why is it up to Governor Ron DeSantis and a former military officer who's now serving as a U.S. congressperson to do this? You know, why isn't our State Department, our military going in there and protecting American citizens? It's beyond outrageous that this administration is so weak and so feckless. Yeah,
there are concerns that we could see that surge of Haitian migrants to the United States, as Henna just laid out in her report right before we went live with you. The Biden administration reportedly looking at Guantanamo as a site to process them if needed. Aside from the airstrip that you just laid out, what should be done right now, I mean, this hour by the White House to alleviate the situation?
Listen, if the UN weren't such a corrupt organization, this would be the exact time you would need something like the UN or the OAS, an organization of the American states, where you've got other nations coming in as a coalition of the willing to end the violence, to end the anarchy, to bring some order back to that nation, to Haiti. Again, this is how badly our government and our international institutions have really deteriorated in terms of their inability to really act when they're actually needed. Instead they do all these other things on climate change and things we don't want them to do. They're not ready to do and be called into action when we actually need them.
Yeah. Well, we're staying on top of this one quite closely. I wanted to switch gears with you while I had you, sir. Meanwhile, fireworks at the House Oversight Committee hearing that happened on Wednesday as all those lawmakers clashed over the impeachment probe into President Biden. Former Hunter Biden business partner Tony Bobulinski testifying that the president was very involved in his son's business dealings. But Senator, Democrats impeachment witness, ex-Giuliani associate Lev Parnas mentioned your name as he claimed that he found zero evidence of corruption and that Russia pushed the allegations against the Bidens. Take a listen to this, and I'll get your take on the other side.
But then there was also other people that were doing the bidding for the Russian people in Congress, like Senator Ron Johnson, like Congressman Pete Sessions that sits here right now, that was with me from the very beginning on this journey into digging dirt on Joe Biden.
Senator, what's your response to his accusation that you helped do the bidding of Russians by digging up dirt on the Bidens?
It's an outrageous false accusation. It's actually outrageous. The Democrats would call him as a witness. He's a convicted felon. There's not one word of Senator Grassley's and my reports that is ever proven to be untrue. Our reports are based on U.S. records, bank records, interviews with U.S. persons. Again, our report has stood the test of time, has laid the foundation, laid out the evidence of the corruption of the Biden family, and now the House has just added to that record with documentation. Set the witnesses aside, just take a look at the bank records. Have the Bidens explain those. The email records of 10% for the big guy, and then all of a sudden Joe Biden gets a $40,000 check from a $400,000 disbursement or cash inflow into those accounts. So again, the documentary evidence is overwhelming of the corruption of the Biden family. So the Democrats can obfuscate. I mean, they can bring in witnesses, the convicted felons that lie. But the truth of the matter is, we have the documents that show that the Biden crime family is corrupt and they were peddling influence.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.